Greetings and welcome to the Daily Devo for Friday, July the 7th already. And we are taking a visit to Lachish, Lachish, Lachish. It's a number of passages mentioned here. Psalm 18, verses 1 through 3, Psalm 20, verses 1 through 9, and Hosea 8:14. It's the Hosea passage that gets mentioned here or written here at the beginning of our Devo. Israel has forgotten their maker and built palaces. Judah has fortified many towns, but I will send fire on their cities that will consume their fortresses. Again, that's Hosea 8:14. Hosea is an interesting story for sure. Lachish offers one of the best opportunities we have to examine the relationship between a Bible event and archaeology. What's more, it's one of the best places in the Holy Land to see the consequences of a misplaced trust. Ponder that phrase for a while. The consequences of a misplaced trust. At the close of the 10th century BC, King Rehoboam of Judah sought to secure Jerusalem from attack by building a series of fortresses on the natural routes that led to the capital city. Lachish was one of these. A reference here, 2 Chronicles 11, 5 through 12. By the close of the 8th century BC, King Hezekiah had further developed Lachish, making it second in size and importance only to Jerusalem. During his reign, the city grew to be 150 acres surrounded by a wall 20 feet thick. The ramp and gatehouse that secured the entry are the largest to be discovered in Israel from the Old Testament era. Put all of this together, and Lachish illustrates what mortals were capable of doing to protect themselves from invaders. The biblical poets and prophets had no problem with the construction of such daunting defenses, but they rose to object when they saw Israel putting more trust in what they had made than in what the Lord could do. In all eras, and no matter what technology was available, God was to be Israel's primary defense, Psalm 18:2. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God, Psalm 20, verse 7. Hosea saw the trust of Judah flagging and warned of its consequences in Hosea 8:14. Because Israel undervalued the Lord, he would allow fortifications like Lachish to crumble. That's because it became an idol, and God doesn't allow that. We see that sad outcome in the archaeology at Lachish. Late in the 8th century BC, the Assyrians attacked and built a massive siege ramp against the city's southern wall. It was 246 feet wide by 200 feet long and required 19,000 tons of material. Although the ramp has eroded over the centuries, what remains is still impressive. Archaeologists have also found an ancient written report from Assyria, the Annals of Sennacherib, in which the Assyrian king boasts that he captured 46 of Hezekiah's fortified cities, including Lachish, effectively trapping Hezekiah in Jerusalem like a quote-unquote bird in a cage. And in the entrance hall to Sennacherib's throne room in Nineveh was carved a wall relief 70 feet long, depicting the defeat of Lachish in some detail. All this archaeology corresponds with the way the event is recorded in the Bible in 2 Kings 18, 13 through 16. Listen carefully, and you will hear that God is still speaking through the story and the ruins of Lachish. The Lord summons us to trust Him more than we trust our retirement savings or health care plans. He calls us to trust Him more than the things we construct to make our lives easier and safer. And Lachish is a reminder of what He may allow to happen to our quote-unquote fortifications if we trust what they can do more than what the Lord can do. What Israel did was violate that first commandment. You will have no other gods before me or besides me, depending on how the word gets translated, but it could be both, before or beside me, equal to me. That you trust as much as you trust me. What are our idols these days? Well, there are those personal ones, as mentioned here, our healthcare plan, our retirement plan, our property that we've purchased and developed over the years to be that retirement thing. As a nation, we put our trust in a lot of things. We say in God we trust, but in reality, it's in military, it's in walls that we try to build at borders, things of that nature. We all have them if we're not careful. I really love the story of Israel or of the Philistines capturing the Ark of the Covenant, and they put it as all these types of cultures did. I captured your God. We'll add him to our list. Maybe he can give us some good things. They put that in the temple of Dagon, who was their main god. And only to find that when they came back to their temple, Dagon had fallen off his shelf and laid on the ground. So they put him back up. When they came back again, he had fallen. This time the hands were broken off. The idol was broken. And so they began to fear the God of Israel, and they wanted to send that Ark of the Covenant back as fast as they could. We need to understand that we're God's people. If we're Christians, we should know His Word. We should know Him. We should know Him. And He will not share His glory with another. 2 questions today. What fortifications have you put in place to secure your future well-being? And secondly, how does this story from Lachish challenge you to recalibrate your trust in the things you are able to do to secure your well-being? In other words, how much faith do we put in ourselves and our own planning and our own abilities that we're not putting in God? Our prayer for today, Lord, I want to fully rely on you in all circumstances. Help me make wise choices about how I prepare myself to meet life's challenges, but help me anchor my ultimate trust in you. Amen and amen. Blessings to you today on this Friday.